Hello everybody, this is your boy GMillion. It is January 12th. This is the time of the recording. I purposely waited an actual 2 months to actually film and do the recording of this video. So this is not an early review of the PlayStation 5. I don't even consider this being a review of the PlayStation 5. This is just my 2-month experience of the console itself. I'm not gonna lie, there's some good, there's some bad. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about my first 2-month experience of the PlayStation 5 and what I could tell you right now. Long story short, it is an amazing PlayStation 4. But when it comes to PlayStation 5 stuff, I would have to disagree. It is not a good PlayStation 5. It is not a good next-gen experience. Rushed, and it is not ironed out. And maybe it's just my hardware, maybe not. A lot of people are having the same issues that I am. So I'm going to talk about 4 good stuff about the PlayStation 5, 4 stuff that I like about the PlayStation 5, and 4 bad stuff. So if I go any longer when it comes to this list, it feels like that I'm going to be nitpicking and trying to dig through corners to see if I could find some good stuff and some bad stuff. So these are the 4. So these are the good stuff and bad stuff that are on the top of my head. Before we get into the bad stuff, we're going to have to talk about good, because I know a lot of people are negative and a lot of people just tune into YouTube when it comes to bad stuff. Okay, so the first good thing on my list, not in any particular order, the load times are fast. Like, they're almost non-existent. What I mean by that, they use an NVMe SSD drive, so PS5 games and PS4 games can install on there. PlayStation 5 games is required to be installed on that SSD drive. So what do I mean by non-existent? Well, the SSD drive is fast. Like, if you go into Spider-Man Miles Morales and you do the fast traveling thing, you don't even get load times. Like, you just cut to Miles Morales leaving the subway. Other games just load faster than my computer. But to be fair, my computer has a slower SSD drive compared to my console. So, because I have a SATA SSD drive on my computer, and the PlayStation 5 is an NVMe. This is my first experience running an NVMe, and I can say it's fast as hell. The DualSense controller impressed me. I didn't like it at first because it's a lot bigger than the DualShock 4. But after using the DualSense controller, the DualShock 4 controller feels like a toy. The adaptive triggers are cool as hell. The new rumble features is cool as hell. Turn it off when it comes to Call of Duty multiplayer, because that makes it distracting. But when you're playing cool stuff like Astro's Playroom, cool as hell. But other than that, I don't have anything else to say about the DualSense controller. Can't tell you stuff about the battery life, because I really don't experience the DualSense controller when it comes to the adaptive stuff, because I really haven't been playing a lot of PlayStation 5 games, and the reasons are going to be later on in this video. Now, another cool thing about the PlayStation 5 is the noise factor. It's no secret that the PlayStation 4, especially the Pro, sounds like a fucking jet engine. The PlayStation 5 is quiet. The loudest thing in the PlayStation is the disk drive. So if you're like me, have a lot of physical games, you're going to hear the disk drive spinning a lot more than the fan spins. So if you play a lot of physical games, that's what you're going to hear. Now, if you get a console that has a different fan, because there's 2 different fans in the system. There's the fan that I have. I don't know the brands or anything. I guess I got lucked out and got the quiet fan, but there's a louder fan that is louder. So just keep that in mind when you do buy a PlayStation 5. You're not going to know what fan you have unless you take it home and boot it up. So it is, you get a 50% chance of a louder fan and a quieter fan, and I just lucked out. That's just my experience. The last good thing about the PlayStation 5 that I enjoyed. Better performance when it comes to PlayStation 4 games, it's no secret. The games that have uncapped frame rates run at 60 FPS solidly on the PlayStation 5. So games like Tomb Raider, the Tomb Raider games, Final Fantasy 15 have a solid 60 FPS. There's a game on top of my head. God of War has a solid 60 FPS. Now, what certain companies have been doing, they actually put like an actual 60 FPS mode in their game, and I'm talking about Sucker Punch and Ghost of Tsushima. They didn't make a native PlayStation 5 version. They just made a mode that's automatically turned on when you play on the PlayStation 5, where it's 60 FPS. So that means you're playing the actual PlayStation 4 game, so you don't actually have to have it installed on the SSD, and it's not a different game, so you can continue grinding out your trophies, continue the game on the PlayStation 4, but actual PlayStation 5 features not make it in the new game. So that's actually pretty cool. Now let's talk to you guys about the bad parts that really plaguing the PS5 right now, that they really need to fix, improve on. And the number one main thing is the storage. It's no secret that you get a SSD drive, however, it is under a terabyte. After having the software and everything installed, you get about 667 gigabytes storage on the SSD drive. That is a little better than the PlayStation 4 at launch, but the games itself have gotten a lot bigger. Let me give you some examples. Miles Morales is about 60 gigs. Mortal Kombat 11 is about 80 gigs. Call of Duty is over 100 gigs. Your hard drive is going to be filled up pretty quick. The Xbox allows you to transfer Series X and S games back to the external drive if you're not playing them and you don't want to reinstall them. Well, Sony does not allow you to do that. If you run out of space on your drive, Sony wants you to delete it and re-download the game. So if you have data caps on your internet, guess what? You are going to have to delete and re-download the game. For me, for my use case, it's a pain in the butt, but it's not the end of the world because I have an unlimited data cap. You, on the other hand, I don't know your internet situation, so I guess follow up with your internet service provider and see how that's going to be an issue with you. If you are like me and you don't mind deleting and re-downloading games, it is a pain in the butt, but it's not the end of the world. But what I've been noticing that a lot of people are not talking about, there is a section on the storage option in the settings menu called Other, and every time you click on it, it just gives you a message saying that this is used for system data, and it increases and decreases depending on how you use the console. It seems like the more you use the console, the more the other section gets filled up, and it got to the point one time where it got almost 200 gigabytes, and that is bigger than Call of Duty. Every time I tried to decrease it, it led to me having to factory settings my console. Then installing a couple games, it got up to like 60 gigabytes. That's gonna be an issue with you when you get your console. PS5 games. So this is the second thing. I wasn't really clear. PS5 games and system keeps crashing. Now this has been an issue since console launch. It is January 12th. And I noticed a lot of games crashing and a lot of whenever the system is off, it just shuts off. So what I mean by PlayStation 5 games crashing, it does not happen with me when it comes to PlayStation 4 games. PlayStation 4 games run flawlessly. No crashes unless the game sucks, but I don't play sucky games because I play the best games. When it comes to ray tracing, it seems like games crash whenever I use ray tracing. So the main feature that the PlayStation 5, Sony is advertising ray tracing, I can't use because my system keeps crashing. Or no, the game keeps crashing, not my system. The game keeps crashing. I could still use the menu to close out the game and do that, then report the crashes. Now when it comes to system crashing, there's a lot of issues when it comes to the external storage. Once you start noticing your system start to shut down, that's when you're gonna need to factory reset your system. Then it should stop. Now, if it starts again, you have to factory reset your system. Not, you're gonna notice a lot of system shutdowns, especially when it comes to rest mode. It is January. They fixed it, but not completely, so it doesn't happen as often. But if it does happen to you, factory reset your setting. Just reset your console and make it look new. It is a pain in the ass. So when it comes to PlayStation 5 games are hit or miss when it comes to me. I cannot play Watch Dogs at all because it just crashes at the beginning, and I'm kind of scared buying PlayStation 5 games because I don't know how the ray tracing feature works. I don't know if I could turn off ray tracing, and I shouldn't even have to deal with crashing when it comes to games with ray tracing. There are a couple games that work flawlessly with me. Sackboy: A Big Adventure, I don't know if that game has ray tracing. Assassin's Creed Valhalla works perfectly with me. What's that game? Demon Souls work really good with me. I haven't played enough Demon Souls for it to crash, but when there's a game that I know that has ray tracing, no matter what I do, unless I turn off ray tracing. Number 3, lack of system software updates. Now, it's no secret that they rushed this console and they rushed this new UI, and they didn't give people a lot of time to beta test the UI and the system software. What they did, they released it. They probably went to Thanksgiving break and they went to Christmas break, and during that whole time they had 2 updates. The day 1 update, and there was a December update. I did not notice that there was any updates in January. I did not see anything, and the PlayStation or the Sony does a good job telling you that the console did an update. There's no update, so a lot of bad stuff that happened during launch is still happening with me. Number 4, the bad UI. The UI is not perfect. What I mean by that, like they could improve on some stuff. The store is half-baked. They don't have everything in the store. Like when the system first launched, they did not have a section with deals. It felt like that I had to use the store in my phone for me to utilize the store completely. They should have just stuck with the PlayStation 4 store. The trophy system is terrible. I don't know why they made it horizontal. They should have left it like a list, like vertically. They just thought they could, fix whatever wasn't broken. I still hold down the PlayStation button to turn off the system, but holding it down actually just takes you home. They just made stuff like more convoluted. They made it harder to do certain stuff that was totally easy to do on the PlayStation 4, and a lot of that stuff can be fixed in future updates. At the end of the day, the system does need improvements, and a lot of this stuff can be fixed during with system software updates. As far as the system crashing and the game crashing with the ray tracing, I'm going to test it out with Hitman 3 on the 20th. I did pre-order a physical copy on that one, and I know that game does have ray tracing, so I'm going to see if that game keeps crashing. I'm going to contact Sony to see if I can get my system RMA'd. The reason why I haven't already done that, because I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. maybe it can be fixed with system software updates. There's no point of dealing with this RMA BS during the holidays and having a risk of getting my console stolen during the whole situation. So what I'm gonna do is test it out with Hitman 3, and if it still does happen, I will contact Sony about it. Like I said, it is an amazing PlayStation 4. It runs PlayStation 4 games a lot better than the PlayStation 4 Pro. When it comes to PlayStation 5 games, it still needs some TLC. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please rate, comment, subscribe. I'm aiming for 500 subscribers. I'm almost there, and there's gonna be more live streams. I probably will be live streaming more Yakuza content, so look for some Judgment gameplay soon. I will talk to you guys later. See ya.
Hey baby, do you like what you see? Yes you do. If you really like what you see, you can subscribe to my channel. Then, after that, you can leave a comment. If that makes you hard or wet, you can rate this video with a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I don't care. You can also check out my latest video or the latest playlist or whatever I feel like putting on the screen. Have a good day. Bye baby. This is your daddy.